Hey, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Mo Love Podcast, Honest Conversations with Mo. Happy Juneteenth to everybody out there. And hopefully enjoying the beautiful, weather out here today. And yeah, let's get right into it. For this episode, I guess I kind of wanted to sit on it. Something I've been thinking about of late. Someone asked me this question a while ago. What is your proximity to fun? And then when I had to sit there and think about it, when thinking of how I choose to have fun, it's interesting. I never thought about it, and then obviously wasn't able to provide an answer, but it had me thinking about it. And I think as far as my proximity to fun is just being around the right individuals, the right people that kind of choose to, uplift you and want to see the best version out of you as you want to see for yourself. And I think when you're really having that fun, and how you're choosing to connect with people and connect with this world, it's interesting how sometimes we choose to have fun. Like, what is our proximity to fun? And we think about it, proximity, closeness, or distance to it. Our overall, understanding of kind of what we define as fun for ourselves is always interesting to think about, because fun can be so ever evolving in many ways, from fun to learning about new roles and new experiences and who you are as an individual, to fun in terms of as I mentioned earlier, just being around the right people, the right energy, and in an environment you're enjoying being in. So I think about that in terms of what is my proximity to fun, just from my last couple of weeks since been speaking with you all, just the last episode, and just thinking about what is my proximity to fun. And I kind of want you all to kind of think about that too. And, as I continue to uncover what this proximity to fun is and how I choose to define that, how that choose to appear, and how that, will appear, in terms of, the things that, we kind of need for us to be able to have fun, and that gets to my next thing in terms of how sometimes when we look at fun, we kind of sit in between these two places of whether it'll be, true lament, which, true lament for some things, for some it's, hard to understand in the sense of, what it means to lament, in terms of to understand that, not everything will kind of turn out and it'll end up being as it should be. And that's kind of the understanding of how the universe works, in terms of we don't get what we deserve, or we don't get what we want, kind of get what we need. In a sense then of true lament, in that, it being a form of hope, it not lamenting is it, giving up on everything. Lamenting is, kind of sitting in and understanding that, hey, it'll be better than you could ever imagine, and that, being, true lament versus despair, and how despair, we kind of, sit in that void, sit in our shells, and, how long we choose to sit in those voids is kind of how long we kind of imprison ourselves to a false sense of hope, a lack of, true, true hope, or or any sense of hope at all. Whereas, true lament is you are able to understand, hey, things will be better, things are going to get better. That's always interesting to kind of think about when looking at all aspects of our lives, and, the kind of things we kind of hope for, we kind of desire, where we also get, I guess, into this next topic of, and this delusion of, positivity, where we kind of have this false sense of reality of, what is truly, what is kind of, truly a part of, this overall, world, and, all of us, of ourselves, and where we sit in this delusion of positivity of where reality isn't really as it appears. Reality is, kind of what we go out there and kind of experience and kind of engage with. And I think, when we are, engaging with, kind of the world, and we are able to see, kind of that sense of not sitting in that despair, or not falsely, clinging on to, this sense of, seeking happiness, or, but just really just being, just being authentic version of ourselves, in that, or instead of, feeling we have to hold, kind of things in that sense of the world, and where we don't allow ourselves to, our voices to well, our voices to be heard, in that sense, is that false sense of, false sense of hope, and kind of what kind of puts us in that despair. So I think when we think of delusion of positivity, I think we gotta look beyond just what we're seeking, but kind of where we are in the moment. And I think removing delusions of grandeur, and, over analyzing, over assessing the world, and kind of how we differentiate the things we like versus the things we love. As we know, love is a interesting term when we look at, I guess, on the next topic of like versus love, where what is most important? Is it the things that we like, or is it the things we love? Because I think, even for myself these days, where I guess that delusion of positivity of chasing or seeking out what love is, or what that entails, didn't allow me to, or I didn't really allow myself to enjoy the things I liked, and really covering those things that I liked, and how that allows me to truly be able to love. Because I think when we falsely mistaken that sense of peace, and knowing the things that we like, and we truly like it, I think it's more important that we like things first. Because if we don't like it at all, then, what's the point of even, engaging So I think when we're looking at, like versus love and what that imprint kind of looks like of doing more of the things, I like versus the things I love, because love can also be misleading in that sense, because when we know what we like, we learn to love it, and that love becomes natural, versus when we're just loving things or seeking out love, then we're not truly getting to like anything. So I think just really taking the time to kind of think about what like versus love looks like, for you, as I continue to do for myself. It'll be, as far as exploring how that looks like in all aspects of, my life. And then I guess next I want to get into, sadly, I have to get into the Boston Celtics, the NBA Finals, where the Boston Celtics, gentlemen sweep of the Dallas Mavericks. Although I did predict Mavs in 6, that did not come true. It was Celtics in 5. They are NBA champions. And yeah, I guess, it sucks, as a Laker fan. I've seen the Mavs win, but I mean, they've got a incredible squad on that side. Joe Mazzulla, great leadership. Brad Stevens, two core young guys, and Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. In terms of their superstardom, Porzingis is still a bucket. Re-signing Drew Holiday, Derek White. It's just, it's going to be interesting to see how long, Boston keeps this team. I don't know. I guess outside of a healthy Bucks team, and maybe depending on what Philly does, who can really contend with them, or New York, what the Knicks do, as far as who can contend with the Celtics in the East. So it'll be interesting. I mean, obviously they got these guys locked up. I think Tatum's about to get a 5-year, 319 with the play option, so a 4+1 potentially. So yeah, it'll be interesting to kind of see how this Celtics team kind of continue moving forward. And then shout out, I guess, to the Mavs. Nobody thought they were gonna be here. Nobody thought they were gonna contend and make it this far, let alone at the NBA Finals. Of course, rooting for them. Luka and Kyrie, it was a tough series for Kyrie, especially playing at the Garden. So I think as far as how they choose to retool that team in Dallas in the competitive West will be interesting. Will this be a kind of one and done blimp for Luka, or is Luka now, getting that taste for, NBA Finals? So now he wants to continuously contend, moving forward. So it'll be interesting to see how the Mavs continue to build around Luka, Kyrie, and Lively is solid. PJ Washington. It was interesting to see Tim Hardaway only played one game. It was game 2, or no, game 3. Game 3, which was the win. Game 4, which was their win. I don't see him playing game 4, which is interesting. But PJ Washington, Derrick Jones Jr., Gafford, Josh Green, Jalen Hardy. I mean, the Mavs got to, continue to add, pieces. Probably don't have to be free agency. I don't think they have picks in this year's draft, or I don't remember how many picks. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting what the Mavs continue to do. But I guess congrats to the Celtics on winning the finals. But on to the WNBA Commissioner's Cup, where we have the New York Liberty versus the Minnesota Lynx, playing the championship game on June 25th. As you know, the Commissioner's Cup is the originator, the NBA copied with the IST tournament, but the original, the Commissioner's Cup, the WNBA's Commissioner's Cup. Liberty, Lynx, both teams solid. New York Liberty, Breonna Stewart, Sabrina Ionescu, Nyjah, Banasia Hamilton. I don't like to butcher her name, but in that whole Liberty squad, the Lynx, Nafisa Collier, Kayla McBride, Skalico, Skalico. Let me double check. Let me fact check myself. Courtney Williams, not Glee Hooper. She's on the Mercury. But Courtney Williams, solid squad out there with the Lynx. They early solid start, in the Western Conference, the Liberty in the East. It's going to be a great game. Obviously, the WNBA season has been solid. Camila Cardoso back for the Chicago Sky. Her and Angel Reese. I think she got 7 straight double-doubles, which is the most in Sky history. And I think it's a WNBA streak or somewhere tied. I think top 5 in WNBA history. Angel Reese do her thing. Rickea Jackson now starting for the Sparks, getting buckets. Cameron Brink doing her thing. Zaya Cook getting buckets with the Sparks. Millie and Angel Reese are bucket getters. Let me just say that. They's gonna be twin towers galore. Oh my gosh. Ooh. Camille Cardoza and Angel Reese. Man, Sky got future for days. But Aaliyah Boston, Caitlin Clark, Kelsey Mitchell got handles. Oh, I've been watching her game. She got handles. It's crazy. Her handles on a string is crazy. Sky Diggins cooking in Seattle. WNBA season's been fun. The New York Liberty versus Minnesota Lynx Commissioner's Cup. It's gonna be a dope watch. I know I kind of went off there in that sense, but WNBA, Commissioner's Cup. Who I got? I got the Lynx on this one. Nafisa, Kayla, Courtney. They squad. I just think they better. The Liberty though, when they shooting, and then Sabrina get hot. And Haja, she straps up on defense. Dang. But I'm gonna stick with my pick. I'm gonna go Minnesota Lynx with the dub and getting the WNBA's Commissioner's Cup. And then, we'll move on to the top 4, kind of what I've been listening to of late. My favorite album, I guess I'll still have to say it's Cole's. Might delete later, but I've been listening to a lot of different playlists, a lot of different sounds of late. And just, Shabuzi, Horses and Hellcats, It's a lot of dope music I've been listening to. My favorite show to watch currently, Gills Arena, I guess, in that sense, watching that a lot. Watching The Shy's back. Um, nice show. I've been watching, what I've been watching? Oh, The Big Cigar. Kind of talked about it before. Can staying on that. Presume Innocent on Apple TV. I just started that yesterday. That's been solid. But yeah, just been catching on my shows. 911. A lot of my fall shows, my go-to fall shows. Yeah, just been kind of watching that of late. Watching the finals, watching WNBA. And then what do I currently have going on? A lot of, career development, kind of going on in the background. And just, continue to grow in all aspects. Just came back from a couple of trips, dope, amazing trips. And just, kind of knowing, what will be, and then just, just putting the work in, of course, checking out, events around the city, in Charlotte, and yeah, just having fun, man. Enjoying things, one day at a time, and just, continuing on. What am I looking forward to? Very much these career development, kind of what's happening in the background. Excited for you know, everything. Of course, nervous at the same time because it's just, natural, of course. And, yeah, look forward as always, go and check out different events around the city, as I said. And just getting better. Just getting better one day at a time. Just getting better one day at a time. Definitely probably gonna put some more trips on my book. Start kind of looking around, so I look forward to that. What kind of trips I want to kind of put on my book. And making things happen, man. Excited. And as always, just appreciate y'all, just listening. As always, and until next time, peace.